Welcome back to Save the Pumpkins podcast, Christmas edition. This is Amy.
And this is Shane.
So, what are we going to talk about today?
Today do you want to do it? You've got it up.
I think I will. The Santa Stakeout, 2021, starring Tamera Mowry as Tanya.
I got to correct you because I had to look it up. But it makes sense that you would say Mowry. It's Mowry. Tamera Mowry-Housley.
Tamera Mowry-Housley.
Mowry-Housley, yep.
Okay. As Tanya. Paul Campbell as Ryan/Rupert. And Joe Pantoliano as Francis.
Did we do the I don't know if we did this or not yet, so I don't want to say I take pride in it, but I'm always quick to correct myself. And since I just corrected you on something, and by the way, the only reason I corrected you on her name pronunciation is because I looked it up and because I think I pronounced it Mowry as well. When I was like, oh, it'll just be Tamera Mowry, and I went, oh man, that's probably not right, because she hyphenates it a little bit. And on one of our previous episodes, what is the name of the actress from Haul Out the Holly and The Scottish Christmas? What's her name? Party of Five. Come on. What's her name? The famous Christmas actress. Oh my gosh. This isn't a trick question. I'm about to apologize. So go ahead.
Hold on. It is
oh, come on,
gosh, her name is right.
Lacey.
Lacey Chabert.
It's Chabert. You're correct. You were correct. See, I've screwed you up now. I was pronouncing it like a true Southerner. I said Lacey Chabert. That's what I said. And I think even in the last episode, I maybe gave you a hard time about it, but you were absolutely correct the whole time. It's Chabert. I don't know.
Okay, but
I'm
but
making a point to point out in the last episode. If people go back and listen to it, I gave you a hard time. I was wrong. Big time.
Well then I have to say this.
Okay.
Having grown up and knowing Tamera has a twin sister named Tia, they were in a show. And it was Tia and Tamera, and I'm pretty sure they said Mowry. They didn't say Mowry.
I could play the interview for you here on the podcast. I looked up several interviewers because she's a very okay. I don't know anything about this lady's politics or anything that she's into, but she seems to be a very friendly, sweet person. She does lots of interviews with her husband. They seem very happy. Everything seems She is not hiding. It is not difficult to find interviews with Tamera Mowry-Housley. Oh gosh, see now I'm gonna mess up Housley. It's not hard to find interviews with her, and you can look it up when we get done. It's Tamera Mowry.
And she says it that way.
She is introduced several times saying it, and smiles and waves. I feel quite sure. If you were to call me by an incorrect last name, I would correct you.
Okay. Well, that's not how I've known them.
No, I got it. But maybe that's what's the, when you just do something all your life. I don't know what the phenomenon is. It's not the Mandela effect. Mandela effect is you remembering something that didn't exist. But yeah, I was just stepping out to make sure that I even wrote it down with two O's so that I would remember to say Mowry. I think it's like a Moor.
Okay, I think we focused on this long enough.
Yeah, probably so.
So this movie basically is
about... Well, wait a minute. Let's go through it. Okay, it's Tamera Moore.
I went through all of them.
Housley, and who'd you say plays Ryan Anderson?
I said Ryan/Rupert is Paul Campbell, and Francis is played by Joe Pantoliano. Pantoliano.
So you're going to mess me up on that because that is very much a northern thing that you just did with Mario and Mario. It's Pantoliano, right? Pantoliano. So you're going to mess me up, and I have that one down.
Pantoliano.
Okay, just keep going. Let's just keep going with that.
Anyway, so Tanya and Ryan are detectives, and there's a bunch of theft going on around the holiday season. Yeah. And it seems to take place where they're suspecting it's taking place while there is a common Santa Claus present at these events.
Well, they bring the chief brings the two of them in. She's a rookie detective, and they bring her and Ryan and Paul Campbell's character, and they're trying to one up each other on the, who, don't you remember? They're trying to one up each other on who can be the better detective. Well, I noticed this detective. I noticed that. I just found this on the internet, detective. Sir, because they're talking to their captain or chief or whatever he is. Captain, I guess. And the captain's about to retire, and Tanya goes, I happen to notice this, and she holds up a picture. This is totally a plot device just to get the story moving. And she holds up a picture, and it's a picture from each one of the crime scenes where you can see his watch. And it's the same watch, so they determine that it's the same Santa at each one. That's a common denominator. And rock and roll. Yeah.
And so they are, they go to the agency that, I guess, does Santa Claus for hire, and come to find out that they narrow it down to this one Santa who's wearing that watch, whose character is played by Joe Pantoliano, who plays Francis. And they go to that agency, and she says that she knows him very well and very surprised, that, could he be a thief, a robber? And she just basically says, she started the company, and please keep me posted, if I need to know anything, because this affects my job. So they go undercover, Tanya and Ryan, and they rent the house next door to Francis, so they can keep a better eye on, maybe like be able to look into the windows, get inside, see what's going on.
The Stakeout of Santa. There's the title. Yeah.
Right. And so Tanya is a very, very
by the book. She's by the book. She's a anal retentive sort of, but she's also very much in love with Christmas.
Yes.
Got to be one of them in every movie. She's a Christmas
and he's kind of coming
queen.
across, of course, as the grump a little bit,
A little bit. Got to be one of those
cranky.
in every one of these too, yeah.
Picks on her for being so interested in Christmas.
He's also a little bit of a slob, like your stereotypical guy, right? He eats and drops his wrappers. No dude I know eats and drops their wrappers where they are, like some kind of weird pig, but whatever. That's the stereotype.
So they rent this house, and she, of course, runs amok and decorates it, and he's,
What do you think is going to happen? Is she going to help warm his non-Christmassy heart over the...
I don't know. I guess we'll have to see.
It's what you could probably, by this point, if you're watching, and I don't mean to criticize this particular film. Of all the films that we could criticize that are formulaic and are just sort of by the book, I don't. This isn't one I would pick on, but yeah, like where this is going, right? And even when it opened up, I said immediately to you, "Oh man, this guy seems really nice. I think he's going to be innocent." And it's like, okay, and we're not going to spoil that. We're just going to leave that alone because we'll cut this off before we ever get there.
Well, okay, so they go into the house, and they get kind of outed by a neighbor walking by, thinking that they were the newlyweds or the recently married couple that was looking at this house for rent the other day. And he says, "Oh, so glad that you rented the house." And so then that laid the way for them to take on the role as husband and wife, newlyweds, renting the house. And in doing so, they become introduced to the next door neighbor who they're scoping out, Francis, because that neighbor who spotted them mentioned something to him, because Francis is part of a Christmas committee. He's the head of a Christmas committee in the neighborhood. And so upon meeting him, they kind of, Tanya's, excitement about Christmas, volunteers to become a part of the committee. She wants to know, hey, how can I help? And then that starts the snowball effect of them then doing activities and getting together with the other neighbors headed by Francis, which gives them an in to his house and to be able to spy on him and stuff. And of course, as the movie goes on, the more they get involved with their activities, the more their relationship starts to blossom. And, his non liking of Christmas becomes a little bit more, I like it, brings out stuff in him that he had not done, like baking gingerbread.
She makes him some Santa coffee, with cinnamon and cocoa or whatever, and yeah, she just as she was when it was Tia and Tamera, she's charming, right? Like, and so is he.
Oh yeah.
Paul Campbell's great. I don't mean it like that, but you put two charming people together. I'm not going to mention the same couple I mention every single time we do an episode. If everybody's sick of hearing me say that, all the 3 people that have listened to everything we've said are tired of hearing me say it.
Hey, at least it's 3.
Yeah, it's 3, right? I'm thankful. They're charming.
Yes, I think their chemistry was
it is
very
really
nice.
cute. I said this to you the other day. I think she maybe has flown under the radar. She is beautiful, is she not? Like, she's just gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
She always was. But she's beautiful, and he's just really got a little funny, quirky, like he was in the Three Wise Men and a Baby with Walker and Hines, Andrew Walker and Tyler Hines, and he was great in that too. And he's just great in things. He's good, but their chemistry is really good. I agree. I don't think there's anything about this one that's spectacular. That might be its worst.
I was actually very disappointed because if anybody has ever watched Bad Boys with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, that's where Frank, the character Joe Pantoliano.
What was Frank? Francis. Oh yeah, well Frank, Francis.
I think they call him Frank.
Nolan.
Anyway, if you know him from Bad Boys,
yeah.
I thought his character in those movies was hilarious.
Oh, really good, yeah.
And I know he's gotten older, so I have to give him a little bit of,
Oh, you think he was collecting a paycheck here?
I was just kind of disappointed. And maybe it's because they didn't put him in a funny role. They put him in kind of like a grandpa Christmassy role.
A defensive, innocent, sweet person who has lost his wife, got to be a dead spouse somewhere in a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
You learn that he's lost his wife, and he's kind of sad and pitiful. I don't think this was on Joe Pantoliano. How are you going to have me say it? I don't think this is on him. I think this is that you called it. It's his role. It's the role they gave him as a grandpa.
Yeah, I like him more as like the neurotic, stressed out captain
none of that
in Bad
here.
Boys.
Sure.
That's. But so I was just a little bit disappointed in that. I thought that Tamera and Paul's characters, their chemistry was really good. I thought it was a little cheesy that, you have to always pick out those little cheesy things as you're watching these movies, that when they moved into the house, even though it was a rented undercover detective type of environment it was supposed to be, they completely transformed that house into a live-in, made themselves comfy with all the Christmas ornaments and decorations, and I just thought that was a little over the top for what they were supposed to be doing.
From a plot standpoint, they get away with it because they didn't want anyone to surprise them. You know what I mean? From a plot standpoint, that's how they justified it. Obviously, you didn't. I'm sort of surprised because we liked him. Let's see. Mark Sweatman. I did not look him up. I think it's Sweatman. I can't imagine Sweatman is any different. Plays Finley. Finley is the sort of the detective that's gonna kind of, you get the impression, take over when the captain leaves and goes and retires. He's hilarious. He's most of the Hallmark movies have a like a side character that's funny, the comic relief, if you will. If you will, one of the comic relief characters, provided that one of the main stars is not being that comic relief, there's usually a side character, and we usually really like them. Finley is that side character here. He's the little junior detective that sort of, or he's not a junior detective, he's just like a police officer that is kind of stumbling around. He's the captain's right-hand man or whatever, right?
Was it Finley or Talbot?
Oh, was it Talbot? What did I said Finley. I'm so sorry. It is Talbot. You're correct.
Yeah.
And Mark Sweatman does play Finley, but who plays Talbot?
Raphael Pellerin.
Oh, so call me out. There you go. Good job.
Yeah, because I'm listening to you and I'm like, hold on a second.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right, Talbot. In fact, I would have gone with it being Finley, because I was just so sure of my being wrongness that, or of being right, that I would have gone with it. But Talbot, now that you say it, that was the name they kept mentioning over and over. Not that it's an excuse for me getting his name wrong, but we've only seen this once. We just watched it once all the way through. And we got so good job. What's his name again? Sorry, we gotta say it right.
Raphael Pellerin.
Okay, and he plays Talbot. He's the side character guy.
Yeah, a little bit of a comic relief kind of thing, right?
Totally. You laughed at it, at a couple of us. He's funny. He's like stumbling through he's trying to get over there to get, so no one can see him because he doesn't want to blow their cover because he's got to go in and get information from him. And he's just funny. He's the
Yeah. You know, one thing that I picked up while watching Tamera in this movie is I felt like she gives off a very maternal vibe about her. And so going through the movie and their relationship kind of blossoming and stuff like that, I got a very like maternal feel from her. Like she brings that out in her actions, her acting.
Do you think it's that she might just be, I don't know, I'm gonna assume the best, that she just might be an incredibly positive.
Yeah, it's like there's not a threatening thing about her. Like she doesn't come across like, what's the word?
She seems very forthcoming. She seems very, very sweet.
Right. Like if you met her on the street, you wouldn't be taken back that she was out to get you for anything.
Like a Hollywood star. Like
you can ask her for help, you know?
Yeah, but also like she doesn't seem like your typical what you think of when you think of a Hollywood person. Like a kind of full of themselves, sort of that kind of thing. Yeah, it's really nice. She seems that way anyway.
So
and we gotta. I'll get this name right. We got a cameo about 2 seconds at the beginning of the movie of one of our Hallmark favorites that I pointed out real quick, but I don't think you're gonna remember it. It was her neighbor, Dolores Drake.
Yeah.
It was real sweet. It was cool.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my gosh, Dolores Drake, because one of our she's been in bunches of Hallmark movies, but she's also been in she was in Pumpkin Pie Wars, and she was in Love Struck Cafe, and she's been in a couple. Every time she pops up, she's so funny.
And we thought, I think for a minute she was gonna
do something
out throughout the rest of the.
She had nothing to do. I mean, it was like they just must have liked Dolores Drake because she is non-existent. And this one, I don't know if I called it out. This was directed by Peter Benson, and I believe Peter Benson has done other Hallmark things. In fact, I know he has. This wasn't. The next movie we'll talk about in our next episode was directed by somebody that has not done a lot of Hallmark movies, and you can tell. I think they break them, and that sounds negative, but I think they break them in and make them kind of part of. They don't let them get too crazy with their creativity. And this is very much one of those movies, but very pleasant, very sweet. I don't know. What would you rate it? We'll cut it off.
Well, wait, before we do that. So basically, they're stuck on Francis as being the.
Oh, are you going to spoil it?
Well, no, I'm not going to spoil it.
Okay.
I'm just going to say that they are hyper focused on Francis being the Santa that's stealing everything, and so they gun for him and arrest him, and then they find out that he is the sweet, kind Christmas enthusiast.
You
neighbor
said you weren't going to spoil it, and you totally spoiled it. Huh? You said you weren't going to spoil it, and then you totally.
No,
spoiled
I'm not going to say who it was. But so I'll just leave it at that. I mean, I just wanted to at least kind of come to a little bit of closure with with our review.
I thought we just kind of broke it off.
No, and so they were wrong, and they.
You could see that coming. I think I said at the beginning of this.
Right. I mean,
you could see that coming the minute they moved in, and they started talking to him, and he's got like convicts and things starting to show up at his door or whatever.
I mean,
like,
there were a lot of signs.
Yeah, but you immediately went, "Oh, he's helping them. That's not weird."
Yeah.
Like, how many movies would you had to have not watched to not be able to see this?
Oh, I didn't say what the actual ending is. So, I mean.
Oh, no. When I say, I wasn't criticizing you just then when I said how many movies would you have to have not watched. What I was saying was, I think you'd have to be kind of not very familiar with how swerves in movies happen. I did swerve, so you'd know what that meant. I don't know why. I think you'd have to not be familiar with movies at all not to see this coming.
Yeah.
I think I said it like in the first couple of minutes. I was like, oh, he's totally going to be innocent. There's no way.
I mean, it was cute. That was charming. I thought their relationship was cute. I wouldn't necessarily watch this one again. It was just very entertaining while it was on.
I don't know that I want to watch it again. I don't know that we need for that to be our barometer anymore because we watch so many of these now that we're seldom watching anything again.
Well, if there's something, though, that stands out for me that is kind of annoying that I just don't like, and in this one, it was Francis Joe Pantoliano role, and because he was in it so much of the movie, that just really kind of killed it for me.
He's a star power, right?
I mean, Tamera kept it going, and their relationship kept it going, but like every time he came on the screen, I was like, oh no, Joe.
We need to get on that. We need to watch more of her stuff, because she's got a couple like mystery movies and things, like a little more Halloween type thing. I think the last one she had.
I would rate this a 4 out of 5.
At this point, I've lost track of what we've rated other things. You didn't like Mystic Christmas. I think this was right up there with that one, and that it was charming. It was great. You're watching it for the two people in it, and as long as that you're good with that, and a story that will suffice, and is not anything that's a standout, I think you'll like it.
Yeah. Well, let us know what you think, and then just remember, we're getting closer to Christmas. Your Christmas mood needs to start, escalating a little bit. So make sure you do something that makes you happy today.